Hi everyone, I'm Steve here with Brian Sanchez. Brian, as you know, is in Carson City, a personal trainer at Fitness for 10. So welcome, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.
Hi. And I'm Steve. If you want to reach out to me or contact me, you can do it through my website at stevemain.com. And Brian and I were just talking about an interview we did previously about, hey, so if you have questions, we can actually put you on this show and you can personally ask us questions. I might answer it different than Brian, but that would be kind of fun if
Right.
anyone wants to volunteer for that. So,
Come and
um,
join us.
yes, let's talk about barriers to starting an exercise program. So, there's so many things and sometimes it's so hard to get started because and you get into it for a week and you quit. I'm sore, I don't know what to eat, I don't know where to start, it's just so overwhelming. And that's the perfect word, it's so overwhelming that people just never start and they just keep going down the wrong path. So give us some input, Brian. I know maybe you talk some people that say, how do I start? But talk to us about that.
Hey, actually, a week or so ago, I had somebody bring that up. I want to get started. I don't know how to, or, things of that nature. And we actually find that when we're talking with people, that they'll just step into the gym to see what we have, and they really don't know how to get started. More importantly, if you're just looking at this and you're trying to search for an approach to getting into a lifestyle for yourself, one of the biggest barriers that I hear from others is that they don't have time. Um, Not having time is and I'm gonna just lay it out as an excuse to not do more for yourself. Look, we're all real busy in life. A lot of you are moms and dads. A lot of you are business owners. A lot of you are employed by somebody else. You have kids. You have to get them back and forth to some kind of childcare group or off to school or off to these other things. And it will easily suggest that we don't have time or we don't know a good time to exercise or take care of ourselves. When in all reality, your family wants to care for you. They want you to do better for yourself. They want you to be successful. And so when you're looking at that and you're looking at, well, I don't know if I can do it. When am I going to get an hour to work out? When am I going to get 30 minutes to work out? And as coaches, we're going to turn right around, Steve, and say, I'll give you a 10-minute workout if that's all you have. We can find the time. Easiest way to do this. Now, if you're really serious about finding what you're doing, you take a strategy for it, is I'm really huge on the whole documentation of what you do through the day. Take 2 to 3 days of your busy life. Write down what time you do something and just jot it on a piece of paper sitting around the house or keep it on your phone and your notes on your phone. At 7 o'clock to 7:30, I did this. At 7:30 to 12, I was doing that. I went home and sat at the table at this time to this time. Then I went over here and I went over there. I watched a couple TV shows. You get about 2 to 3 days of that put down, you're going to see space in there where you're not doing something. That might be the time if you have the ability to take for yourself. If you can't leave your house, great. I've done many, as you know, Steve, from our facility where I'm on a video and you're at your house and we work out. We can reach you no matter where you are in today's day and age to create that time. You have to pick it, you have to set it. But what's really important, it has to be a time that works for you. Not what somebody in your house is saying, well, you can do it at this time. That doesn't mean that that's a time beneficial to you. It's got to be something that you can go ahead and embrace in a time that works for you. Another thing that we see when we're talking with others, when they're talking about a barrier or they're talking about how they can't get started, is they want an unrealistic goal. A goal. And when you talk about it being overwhelming, imagine being a body size that you don't like, and you're looking in the mirror, and you're down on yourself, and you're saying things like, "I got to lose 30 pounds. I got to lose 40 pounds." That is a daunting task for a lot of people. Now, in this industry, we know it's absolutely possible. But I think what happens is people will take that and they'll think, well, I want to get it done in 6 weeks. And let's say they get started in a program and they want to lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. Well, that's not realistic. What we do is we, as a counter to that, is we'll define that goal and we'll get you moving on a program. We'll say, okay, let's lose 30 pounds, but let's make this realistic measurements. Let's come in and let's just say we're going to lose 1% to 2% body fat every 4 weeks. Let's measure that out and track it. Let's just say on the scale you want to drop down 40 pounds. Well, let's just say every month we're going to go 2 to 5 pounds, and we're going to measure that success as we go. We'll weigh in maybe every 2 weeks. Or I want to reduce my midriff by 4 inches. Great, we got tapes. We're going to measure you. Let's measure every other week and say that we're going to lose an eighth of an inch. Not being silly, but let's break it down into things that are measurable and attainable so that it's not so overwhelming, Steve, so that they don't feel like, oh, I've got this huge thing in front of me. And when they see that progress, they know. Now, granted, when you're working with us, we're going to talk about body fat loss, not overall weight, because weight can fluctuate. But we have ways of measuring that so that you can be successful. On the flip side, these younger people, let's say that want to come in the gym and bulk up. Well, it's a lot about genetics. You can't outrun your genetics, and certain things are going to work well for you, and certain things aren't. However, if you want to put on 20 pounds of muscle, you're not going to do it in 2 months properly, I should say. Okay, if we want to eat right, work out hard, do the right system, then let's break that down. Let's say, okay, we're gonna gain 20 pounds in muscle mass. We're gonna do that over a 2 year period. We're going to work this out so that every 2 months we're putting on 2 pounds, but it's clean weight, it's muscle mass, it's not fat. Here's how we're going to do it, and here's how we're going to eat for that success, and here's how we're going to train for that success. So we can find a way and a strategy to remove that barrier. So that's two things you can't use anymore when you come and see us. Another hard thing when people are getting ready for uh, a training workout or a workout program is the lack of support they have around them. And it's going to sound funny. And I said earlier, your family wants you to do better. Your family wants this. That's true. But a lot of the times, people around you don't necessarily support you in your goals because it takes away from them. So you want to create that environment where you're getting support from your friends and family. You have to let them know how important this is to you and tell them. Some of the other things you can do to help create that support: come on down, join a gym, get in a group session where you meet new friends, people that have like ideas and like wants, people that have like goals that they want to try to restructure where they're at in life, and get to know a few more people. If you can do that, we can get you there. You come meet us and talk with us as your coach. We're very friendly. We'll keep you motivated. We'll be your support. But at the same time, invite your family to join you. There's nothing wrong with the three or four of you at the house coming down at the same time and going to a yoga class or going to a Zumba class, or a couple of you jumping on and hiring a coach for a while and working out with us 3 times a week. We can do this as a family. Do it as a family. You can do it as a group of friends. Do it as a group of friends. There's ways around that. That'll take away that barrier so that you can move forward. Another big deal with a lot of people is they're really worried about how they look in our gyms and in our facilities. They feel socially awkward, maybe even in our facilities. It might be a little intimidating. They walk in and they see some people that are extremely fit, wearing a certain style of clothing, and they're not comfortable doing that because they don't like where their body is, so they don't want to be a part of that. Well, I'll tell you what, you come into a fitness for 10, you're going to see all body types, always. We got people dressed in the high dollar outfits. You got guys like me that are Walmart people, and we will get our stuff at the best price we can because we know we're going to thrash it here in the gym. That's not to take away from the quality of that company. I'm just using it as an example. With that said, you don't have to be worried when you're coming into these facilities with how you look. This is about you taking care of you, and anybody else judging you doesn't have any time for you right now. And don't worry, when you're around us, we won't let people judge you. The first thing you got to embrace when you walk through these doors is be good to yourself and stop being rude to yourself. You can have people around you that are going to show you just how wonderful you are, just how beautiful you are. And you'll find that in this facility that you'll be accepted. And that's like all other gyms. We want you in here getting healthy and taking care of yourself. And at other times, when people will talk about workouts, they just won't be convenient for them. So they'll be talking about, well, the gym's 20 minutes from my house, or I don't have a gym nearby. Well, throw the gym out the door. Let's talk about home workouts. Well, I don't have any equipment. Well, let's talk about not having equipment. Get a hold of us and we'll talk to you. When I was working with one of our sports groups that Fitness for 10 was partnered up with, when we were training all their athletes during the COVID shutdown, a lot of these athletes didn't have stuff in their residence. We were literally using cans of soup, bottles of water, buckets of water, trying to create some kind of resistance, broom handles, workbenches. We were finding stuff in their house that they had available so that we could create something for a resistance program. There are things that you have that we will help you notice so that we can get you started. So, convenience wise, it may not be convenient to work out for 30 minutes, but it might be a 20-minute workout. Well, let's get you a 20-minute workout. Don't stop. There are a ton of ways for us to get you where you need to be. The biggest thing I think too in showing your own progress so you don't get defeated is tracking and logging. I am huge about journaling what you do. If you can write about your day and you can start taking care of yourself and keeping notes on yourself, this is your information. You don't have to share it with people. You can show the reason why you chose to go to the gym that day or the reason you skipped that day. You will identify through self monitoring how you're operating in the gym, what's working for you, what's not working for you. You will identify good, bad, and indifferent things about things that trigger you to either stop or trigger you to start, things that make you feel successful, things that don't make you feel successful, because you'll be writing about it. Keep those notes and make it happen. Every workout, you should have a little note on it. This is how it went. This is what I like. This is what I didn't like. Worked with Brian today. He's a knucklehead. Whatever you're going to put in there. If you got a bad coach, change your coach. You're signing up with the companies, not the individual trainers, if that makes sense. Find what works for you, and those journals will help you do that. Another big thing when you're in the gym, and this is for the weightlifters, um, we get a lot of guys that want to make gains in how much they lift. I'm a big, big proponent of imagery, seeing yourself doing it. Well, I was just doing some heavy lifting this morning, and I'm working through my routine. I have a system that I use, and I was deadlifting, and I started getting up into the higher weights. And as I'm setting up on my bar, I'm literally watching my mind, creating an image of my mind of watching my body move, watching my hips come forward through the deadlift. And I'm seeing the success before I do it. It plants that positive approach into my mind so that when I start to pull, I don't think this is too heavy. I think just the opposite. I think hips, 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 and I pull them forward because I've seen myself do it. I know these things seem like simple things, but that's the stuff that helps you to become successful when you're doing this. Those are
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
great points there. And what I would add to that is, I mean, first, the gym, if you choose to work out in a gym, and I haven't been in every gym, but I can generalize, it's pretty amazing how supportive the people are there. And yes, in our gyms, you see people that are really overweight that need to lose 100 pounds. You see that all the time, don't you?
Sure.
But guess what? They're getting encouraged there. They're not sitting in an ice cream parlor. I'm not saying that ice cream parlors are all bad, but these people are in the gym and they're going to get encouraged. They're going to get an attaboy or a way to go all the time. And I just love seeing that positive attitude in the gym. So don't be afraid of that. Don't, oh, people in gyms are mean. No, it's not a nightclub where people are trying to flaunt this or that. It's a positive place, and it feels good to be in most gyms. And most gyms have great cultures. So that's one thing I would encourage people. But You don't have to start in a gym. You want to start. I want to hit on that positive attitude that you brought on. Get some wins. Get some easy wins. Start off and be disciplined. I'm going to walk around my house once today. All right, you did it. Do it again. I walked around my house 2 times. I did 5 jumping jacks, and it's getting into a habit. And then you're walking around the block, and it's like, wait a minute, I feel good. I want to walk around the block 2 times. Hey, I want to do some push ups. And slowly but surely, when you're racking up those wins, you feel good about yourself. And I think that can help overcome a lot of the barriers that people have about being discouraged. Getting over that and not being discouraged is probably the biggest obstacle. Because if you can stay positive and rack up those little wins, even if you walked around the house 1 time, you walked down to the park, or you did 10 jumping jacks, or 5 burpees, or 10 body squats, pretty soon you're going to want to do more. And when you start feeling better about yourself, you're really going to want to do more. And that's going to add to that momentum that you're gaining. So get small wins. And, you can't, the last thing I would say is you can't, again, it has to be sustainable. You can't, I'm going to go on a diet. How many times do you hear this? I mean, so many people do this. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to get this. Okay, well, then what are you going to do? You're done with the diet. Now what are you going to do? There's always a then what after that. Okay, you went on a diet, you've been torturing yourself, and now you look a certain way. Everyone's saying, oh, wow, look at you. Then what are you going to do? You're not going to keep torturing yourself. That's not what people do. That's not what human beings do. So it has to be positive lifestyle change. And you change it
Correct.
a little bit at a time, and get those small wins until you're winning every day and you're not even noticing it. You're not on a diet. You're just having a positive lifestyle that you slowly changed. And then you'll blink your eyes and go, wow, I feel good. I like doing this. And then guess what? Then it will be a priority. People say, I don't have time. No, it's not a priority. But as you start feeling better and you start making progress, that's that exercise and way of eating, that lifestyle is going to move up your list of priorities. It's going to get higher and higher as you improve and feel better. So that would be what I would add to what you said, Brian.
Well,
Yeah.
and that kind of goes along with some of the stuff we talked about in some of our other discussions, Steve. If people can find a way to make this important in their life, remove the artificial barriers away from wanting to start a program, especially if you're somebody who's down in the dumps. I mean, exercise is going to help you sleep better. It's going to reduce your anxiety if you're in a high stress career field. If you're feeling lonely, it's going to relax that depression. um, it's going to change your life if we can get you moving. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I don't think my mother in law is going to be upset if I say this, but she just went through a significant injury. And in her house, I go there twice a week, and in her house, we literally just want her to get up and down the hallway, walk. It doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but in her issues, with what she's dealing with, it's huge. And learning, when we get people in here who have held off because they have some kind of significant injury in life, learning that you can make friends with that pain in one way, shape, or form, and through strengthening the body, almost change the amount of pain you're dealing with. We're not doctors, we're not medicine men. We can't get rid of it, but we can teach you and teach your brain how to manage it a little differently through the physical movement. We shouldn't let anything stopping us from embracing our life and making those changes.
Yeah, great points. And I would just encourage everybody out there hearing this that don't wait until you have to change your priorities. Oh, I'm sick, or I have this, or now I have to do this. Well, guess what? Now your time is dictated to you, and it may be hours going to rehab or whatever, or changing this or changing that because you can't do it anymore because you're sick. So It's a lot easier if you start to slowly change your priorities before you have to change them.
Correct.
All right. Well, anything you want to add to that, Brian?
No, I think we kind of hit that one.
Okay. So, Brian Sanchez, Carson City, Fitness for 10. I'm Steve Main. You know how to reach me. Go to stevemain.com and you can go down and say hi to Brian at the Fitness for 10 in Carson City. Thanks for being with us, Brian.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
See you all next time.